Okay, still on. If you're looking at this going, this seems familiar. Wasn't Donica wearing this last time I watched her? That would be because this is called pre-recording. And I'm actually recording this the week before. So I just finished recording chapter 9, and now I'm going to do chapter 10. But, as always happens, forgot to bring a drink the last time, and I was reading going like, oh my gosh, I'm very parched. So I brought a drink this time. Do you ever get obsessed with something like what do they call it? A hyperfixation drink or a hyperfixation meal where you like, this is the only thing that you want to eat or drink all the time. This is what I'm feeling right now. So I made Switchel, which is basically like kind of like a ginger tea with a bunch of extra stuff added into it. It's super rehydrating for your body, helps your body with different minerals and whatnot. Anyway, my Switchel my main mixture of water and ginger sat a little longer than I usually do it. So it's a little spicier, a little stronger than it usually is. So I've been diluting it more than I usually do. So it's about this much Switchel and then water, and then I've been dumping in my greens I get the greens from Mixers. Anyway, Mix Hers. And I've been mixing that up and drinking it every day, and it's so good. It hits the spot hardcore. Anyway, chapter 10. We are chapter 10, change of title. I mean, I'm just gonna, like, look how pretty. I'm trying to hold it steady, but I gotta remember it's like backwards. Da. And look, you can even see Book 1 of the Legend of the Salt of the Earth series. Anyway, okay. I promise we're reading now. Enough stalling. Chapter 10, Friday, December 14th. 14 December 2008. I'm at Grandma's with Nikki again today. We, Grandma and I, have something special planned for Nikki. Given all that she's already experienced, the odds that this will freak her out are actually in my favor for a change. Just as Nikki came out of the bathroom, Emma put her journal away and said, "So, how's Cam sounding? On his trombone, I mean." "Good," Nikki said, plopping down on the couch across from Emma. "Apparently all that yelling the band teacher does actually works. Cam sounds like he's playing real music, which is a nice change from the dying duck noises." Emma laughed. "Dying duck. That's good." Nikki chuckled and stood up, stretching her arms above her. "Where's your grandma?" Emma shrugged. Nikki walked over to the front door to peek out the window. An envelope sat on the table. "Hey, Em, this is addressed to you." Nikki handed it to Emma, who walked over. Emma ripped open the envelope and pulled a letter out, scanning it. "Right," she said to herself. "What's it say?" Nikki asked, trying, unsuccessfully, to peek over Emma's shoulder. Emma folded the paper and stuck it in her pocket. "We need to prepare," is all she said before she went into the kitchen with Nikki following behind like an incredibly curious puppy. "Prepare for what?" Nikki asked. "Take these." Emma handed Nikki 4 fat pillar candles. "Put the white candle on east, the orange on south, the blue on west, and the brown on north. I'll be right back." She turned and ran up the stairs to the back of the kitchen. "What the heck does that mean?" Nikki mumbled to herself. She carried the candles over to the table and carefully set them down. As she did, her hand brushed the jute table runner she had noticed during her very first visit to Ethel's home. Nikki spotted a mark carved into the dark walnut tabletop. The tiniest corner of the marking was just barely poking out from under the jute. She glanced around briefly before moving the runner completely to the side. Carved into the top of the table were 4 small circles, connected together by a giant circle. "It's a compass," Nikki whispered, tracing her fingers over the word north, which was under the first of the smaller circles. "Oh, good," Emma said, coming into the dining room. "I knew you'd figure it out." She was carrying 2 small bags. "So, what are we doing?" Nikki asked as she placed the candles. "A séance," Emma said, putting her hand into the larger of the 2 bags and pulling out a clear stone. Moonstone to the east. It will help enhance any natural psychic abilities and will also help with our wishes for the future, particularly to communicate with whichever spirit we're contacting today. She placed the clear stone in the same circle as the white candle. Wait, like for real? Like real dead people? Isn't this dangerous? Are we really summoning the dead? Nikki placed the last candle, the orange one, in the small circle carved above the word south. Yes, Emma said, it can be, and technically, no. She pulled a purple stone from the bag, amethyst to the west to aid in keeping our emotions at ease as we contact the past, to keep peace, love, and happiness in the circle. Amethyst also increases psychic abilities. Emma smiled and put it in the same circle as the blue candle. And Nikki put up a hand to stop Emma. Explain your yes, it can be, no. Emma smiled. Yes, for real. Yes, real dead people. It can be dangerous, depending on the spirits, but that's why we always take preventative measures. She pulled a red stone from the bag. Garnet goes to the south to support awareness of present energy. And no, you don't summon the dead, Emma said. Well, not technically. Summoning implies we have some kind of control over spirits, and we don't. What we do is more like inviting. She pulled the last stone from the bag, an opal. We put this one on last. It's a natural amplifier. So who are we inviting? Nikki asked. Emma's whole face crinkled into a grin. That's the surprise. You know, don't you? At that moment, Gabby came in carrying 2 paper bags and said, Merry meet, girls. Can you put these in the kitchen, Nikki? And Emma, can you get some jars? Your grandma said you'd know where they are. She left the florist's right behind me. Of course. Emma rushed off to the kitchen. Sure, Nikki said, taking the bags from Gabby. As Nikki had not yet been formally introduced to Gabby, she got to wonder who this mysterious woman was as she helped unload bunches of flowers. Gabby was taller than Nikki, had maroon-colored micro braids. My brain wants to say micro blades, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about braids. I'm talking about her hair. Micro braids, and wore a crimson cloak over a white long-sleeve button-up blouse, which stood in complementary contrast to her deep brown skin. Her square glasses framed hazel eyes. She took off her cloak. I can finish if you'll hang this up for me, Gabby said, holding the cloak out to Nikki. Sure, Nikki said again. As she hung up the cloak, a memory clicked into place. You're the librarian at the public library, Nikki said as she walked back into the kitchen. Guilty, Gabby said, smiling and putting her hand out. Gabby Oswin. She shook Nikki's hand. Your grandmother gave me this to give to you, she added, handing Nikki an envelope. As Nikki tore it open, Ethel came in carrying more flowers and began chatting with Emma and Gabby, but as they spoke of nothing consequential, and I know you're curious as to what Kate wrote to Nikki, we'll ignore the conversation and focus our attention on the letter instead. My dear little witch, I send this letter with Gabby to let you know you can trust her. She's a witch, like you and me. She's been trained in all the elemental magics and has a natural gift in magic of fire. She will mentor you in my place until I can return. I'm sorry I had to leave you, but it was unavoidable. Of this be assured. Blessed be Grandma Kate. So, Nikki said, folding the letter and looking at Gabby, how do you know my grandmother? Kate and my older sister Simone were friends back in Ireland, Gabby said. But you don't sound, Nikki said. She doesn't sound, Gabby smiled. No, we don't sound Irish. I was born here in the States, but Kate and Simone came when they were kids. They got made fun of for their accents, so they learned to speak without them. Kids can be so mean, Emma said, putting the flowers in mason jars, 1 type of flower per jar. Gabby nodded, touched each jar, and magically filling it with a few inches of water. Nikki stood bug-eyed and mouth agape before she finally managed to say, You've got to teach me that. Absolutely, Gabby laughed, but I think we'll focus on fire first. So what are the flowers for? Just then Rochelle came in through the front door. I'm not late, am I? Not yet, Ethel said. Oh, perfect. Rochelle put her purse and keys on the couch and joined everyone at the table. Everyone pick a jar, Ethel said, grabbing one jar filled with red geranium and one with carnations. The rest of the jars were picked up, one per person. Emma. Clover to the east, for love, luck, and success. Emma placed her jar on the letters carved into the table, spelling out the word east. Carnation to the west, for strength and energy, Ethel said, placing her jar on the first two letters of the word west. Rochelle, if you will. Chrysanthemums to the west, for protection and survival. Ethel placed her jar next to the one Ethel had just set down. Rochelle placed her jar next to the one Ethel had just set down. Red geranium to the south, for guests and protection, Ethel said, placing her remaining jar over the word south. Now you two. Very well, Gabby said. She turned to Nikki. You'll go after I do, okay? Nikki nodded. Buttercup to the north, for divination and energy. Gabby placed her jar on the first two letters of north. Repeat after me. Daisy to the north, for protection. Nikki did, placing her jar next to Gabby's. Emma, Ethel said, do you have the opal? Yes, Grandma, right here. Good. Gabby, the lights, please, Ethel said. Gabby waved her hand. The drapes closed, the electric lights turned off, and all the candles lit, except the brown one. That was awesome, Nikki said. Gabby smiled. I'll teach you that, too. Gabby and Nikki stand to the north, Emma to the south. I'll stand at the east, Rochelle at the west. Everyone take hands, Ethel said, holding her hands out at waist height. Everyone held hands. They created an almost circle, which would be completed once Ethel and Emma joined hands. Gabby, Emma, at the same time, please. Ready? Gabby asked Emma. Emma nodded, putting the opal in the same circle as the brown candle and taking Ethel's hand as soon as the opal was down. At the exact same moment, Gabby lit the candle with a small breath. Nikki felt it. Something had changed. Later, Nikki would reflect back on this seance and recall it felt like a surge of energy had filled the room. In time, she would learn to recognize this feeling as magic. The spirit world is opened, Emma said, grinning at her friend. The pressure you feel in your heart is normal, she added. It's like my whole body is suddenly awake after being asleep for hundreds of years. I can feel everything around me, Nikki said. The hairs all over her body stood as every one of her nerves sparked gently. Ethel smiled. Now we need to call Aislinn to us. Aislinn? Nikki repeated, like Aislinn O'Crane? The one and the same, Emma said. She glanced at her grandmother, who nodded. Emma continued, Nikki, because she's your ancestor, it will be your call she will recognize the most. Repeat after me and then we'll say it together, okay? Nikki nodded. Emma cleared her throat and closed her eyes. Her blonde hair hung around her face, and as she began to speak, an unearthly breeze blew her hair from her face. Souls of the earth, the fire, the water, the air, we call you to send us your sister, Aislinn O'Crane. Sorry, I'm trying to remember if I'm saying Aislinn's name right. Aislinn? I think it's Aislinn. You know, are you even an author if you don't mispronounce your own characters' names? It's fine. Rochelle squeezed Nikki's hand. Nikki repeated. Emma continued. Souls of the future, the present, the past, and those of possibility, we call you to send us your sister, Aislinn O'Crane. Nikki echoed without prompting. Together now, Emma said. Souls of the earth, the fire, the water, the air, we call you to send us your sister, Aislinn O'Crane. Souls of the future, the present, the past, and those of possibilities, we call you to send us your sister, Aislinn O'Crane. They all repeated. What had been a slight breeze picked up to a firm wind. The candles flickered, but since they had been magically lit, they could not be blown out. Slivers of smoke trailed up from each candle. The 5 women continued to repeat their chant. I hear you, a voice said, and barely a whisper. Aislinn? Nikki called. The wind quieted. Yes. You wear my face, Aislinn said in English thickly accented with Irish, which the author's not going to do because she'll butcher it, so just use your imagination. Someday, when we're not doing poor man's audiobooks, we'll hire somebody who can actually do this stuff and say things properly. Until then, you get the redneck version. I'm sorry. She started as a voice coming from the smoke, but it grew more opaque, finally taking the shape of a woman. Slowly, she became denser and her lines grew more defined. Nikki blinked. Looking at Ashlyn felt like looking in a mirror. Ashlyn was dressed like a pilgrim that made it into the Technicolor era. Her skirt was a rich pumpkin orange, her sleeves golden yellow. Her light brown leather bodice was tied with an almost black leather string. Her white underclothing peeked through her top and sleeves, maintaining her modesty. "You're my ancestor," Nikki said finally. "You're of my blood? Do you share the gift?" Ashlyn spoke with melodic breathiness. "I'm a witch, if that's what you mean," Nikki said. "What is the year?" Ashlyn asked. 2008, Nikki answered. "Much time has passed." Ashlyn nodded. "I knew this day would come. I was burned because I knew this day would come. I've got one message for you, lass. It was given to me ages ago." Ashlyn, who had been standing on the table, now sat and looked Nikki eye to eye. "You will need to be brave and trust in your power. Trust in your powers. They will take you where you need to go. Trust the earth's love. He is strong. Time is not what you think. Follow the earth and learn how to listen. The first step is always listening." Ashlyn reached out and touched Nikki's cheek. Nikki felt a coolness like that from a hand which held a cold drink too long. "I best be off, wee witch. I can move on now. My work is done." "Wait, I have so many questions," Nikki said. It was too late, though. Ashlyn had faded, and that feeling, that electric, exposed feeling Nikki had had earlier, was gone. December 14th, 2008. Sorry, we're double-checking something. I spoke to Ashlyn O'Crane today. We did a seance at Madame Ortega's house. It was bizarre in the most wonderful way. Anyways, Ashlyn didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. I mean, I think the whole trust the earth or whatever was a little woo-woo, but I don't really know what it means, but I'll gladly accept any advice I can get about being a witch. Gabby, unlike Grandma, gave me a phone number and an address so I can contact her about starting my training in the magic of fire. I totally feel like I'm in one of those books about a kid who gets to wake up one day with magic powers. It's freaky and wonderful all at the same time. Nikki had to go pick up Cam from band practice after the seance, and Emma had asked if she could get a ride. Rochelle would have given her a ride, but it was knitting circle night. "Journaling down your experiences?" Emma asked as they sat in the car waiting for Cam. "Yeah, I don't want to forget how I felt," Nikki said, closing her journal. "Recording experiences can be vital," Emma said, smiling. Suddenly she felt cold. "Give me your hand," she said, taking Nikki's hand before the witch could respond. There was a silhouette of a person, someone crying. "That's it?" Nikki asked. "I think that's the shortest vision I've ever had," Emma said. "No offense, but compared to the bonfire one, this one was kind of lame," Nikki said. "True," Emma said, but she looked worried. "What's wrong?" "Well, sometimes the lame ones are the most important," Emma admitted. She couldn't shake the feeling she knew the person, that she should recognize the silhouette. Cam tapped the trunk. Nikki popped it and got out of the car to help him with his trombone. December, who knows, who cares? Life is basically over. I can't think of one thing that would make it worse. So I figured I might as well read Mom's book. It's not like she can give me worse news than the fish curse. Nellie put her own journal away and pulled out her mom's. She went to the bathroom and filled up the bathtub with hot water. Hair up in a half-attempted bun and bikini on, she sank into the steamy water. As the book loosened, she wondered why she only turned into a mermaid in the ocean, but the book opened in any water. Nellie turned the water off and reread her mom's entry once again, laying down in the tub. Then, for the first time, she flipped the page. I know this discovery will be beyond heartbreaking for you. Josephine will be thrilled. Yes, she's one too. But her dreams of surfing stretched simply to enjoying the water. You want it so much more. I'm so sorry. I wish I knew how to tell you that this is truly the greatest gift I could give you. My little Hafru. I wish I could tell you. There is a way to do both. There isn't. But I can promise if you're willing to make the trade, it will be a choice you never regret. Read this journal and learn the secrets kept here since the first mermaid in our line. 4 generations of mermaids have written in this journal. I hope you will begin as the 5th. I love you, Hafru. I love you deeply. Love, Mom. Nellie had forgotten her mother's pet name for her, Hafru. She had never been told where it came from or how she got it. She closed the journal, hugging it to her chest and curling around it. She spent a lot of time lately in the fetal position. Maybe she did it as a subconscious cry for her mother, or maybe she did it because it felt protective somehow, like it might prevent any more change. All Nellie knew for sure was that life had changed, and of all the changes, this was the one that hurt the most. That is the end of chapter 10. So, quick reminder, when you watch this, it will be July 18th, not tomorrow, Saturday, but in a week from Saturday. Oh, dang it. Sometimes my camera will decide it's just done recording and then it will start recording again, and I don't know how, so we might have lost something, and I apologize if you're watching the video and all of a sudden I jump from one sentence to another. I will check and see how big the gap is. Hopefully it's not very large. Sometimes it's not even noticeable. I don't know why it does it. It's probably some stupid setting thing that I need to go in and change. But anyway, July 26th, I will be in Murray, Utah for an author signing. I will have A Change of Tide, and I will also have an Obscured Glass at Barnes & Noble. I will be there from 12 until 5. I was going to say something else, and it's gone from my memories, so that's great. Also, if you have ordered a copy of either Change of Tide or an Obscured Glass and you never got the bookmark, this obviously is not the bookmark that matches this book. This is the old bookmark that matched the old cover, but I have a new one that matches the new cover. But if you have not gotten the bookmark for either A Change of Tide or an Obscured Glass, you're going to need the bookmark, because that's how you find out how to find the hidden message inside the book. Because if you're going to do the nerdy thing, you might as well do it all the way. That is all. Thanks for being here. As always, you can find the books on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. I recommend you do through Amazon because I make more money if you order through Amazon. I don't know why. I make a little bit more that way. And please come to a signing if you can. If you can't, I get it. If you're like, girl, I live in freaking Maine, number 1, welcome. How do I know you? How did you find this? But number 2, I get why you can't make a Utah signing because you're in Maine. But you would still like a signed copy and a bookmark. There is a link you can sign up. There's I have a Google form that you can fill out, and I will send you a copy that's signed, and I might even put a little couple extra things in it, like some stickers and fun things. Anyway, I will leave that in the description as well. I think that's all. Probably not. I probably forgot something, but c'est la vie. See you guys next week.